Kris Bailey, former candidate for Austin City Council in the year 2011, and we're here at Occupy Austin. It's day 3. How you doing, Kris?
I'm doing pretty good. I think this movement's interesting. I've been following it from the beginning, ever since it started on Wall Street. It's fascinating. It's great seeing people come together to really start caring about what their government's doing.
And what do you hope that these Occupy Austin protests accomplish?
Well, for me personally, I'd really like to see more participation in the local and state government. If you look around, a lot of these people, I think, feel disenfranchised and aren't the type that have really been involved before. And there's enough people in this movement, there's enough people that are starting to care where we actually could possibly affect some real change or see some real change out of this. So it remains to be seen what this movement really turns into.
And what are your ideas? I mean, there's all these ideas. Some people are saying capitalism is to blame. Some people are saying in the Fed. Others are saying just restore Glass-Steagall. What do we have to do to get America back on its feet?
Getting America back on its feet is going to take a long time and a lot of dedication and hard work. I think that the message is the message started out very vague, and I actually like that. I think a lot of people can get on board with I guess basically the top 1% using their money and their influence to control our political system and basically crushing the bottom 99%. I think everybody from all sides of the political spectrum can support that. When you start fine-tuning the message as far as restoring Glass-Steagall or more regulation of the banks and things like that, I think the message should be kept intentionally vague on that, instead of fine-tuning it down to a specific act, because what we're seeing, I saw this on the news, somebody said the other day, is what we're going to start seeing is citizen politicians rising up. People that don't really want to be politicians, but are realizing that the politicians that we've entrusted aren't doing the job right now that we want them to do. They're instead doing favors for their friends and passing out our money to situations that don't really help us. Ending the Federal Reserve would be a great thing. I'd love to see that come about. The Federal Reserve uses its system to manipulate the value of our money supply and cause inflation, which is basically a hidden tax. They can print more money and they can go spend it, and it devalues the money that we have in our bank. And so essentially what they've done is they've taxed us without us realizing it or without us ever voting for it or anything like that. So I think that would definitely be a good solution to it. Finding solutions. I think that my own personal issue with the movement is looking to the government for solutions to problems that the government has created for us to begin with. And so we really need to be moving away from that a little bit and trying to find out how we as a people can come into this and influence change by kind of steamrolling some of what the politicians are doing and taking some of the control back in our own hands. We don't need a bunch of laws. We don't need a bunch of politicians telling us how to live our lives and what to do on a day-to-day basis and what our money's going to be worth, what we can buy, what we can't buy, regulating the heck out of small businesses until they can't even operate. And so I think that the people can come together and look to each other to find a lot of the answers to this.
Great. So you're basically saying the answers lie with us.
The answers do lie with us, and I think that because of that, the direction of the movement should be kept intentionally vague. I like the fact that it was vague on the top 1% or controlling the other 99%, and the message of we are the 99% is beautiful because that's what you're seeing.
Yes, sir. So a lot of people here, like you said, maybe first time getting involved in politics, protests, and just want to get involved on a local level. How can someone who's out here today holding up a sign who wants to take the next step and actually take action to participate in their government, what should they do?
There are groups all around town that care about a wide variety of subjects and issues that are coming to us on a local level, on a state level. Our state house isn't in session for another year right now, a little over a year right now, so it's difficult to get involved in the state level. But we have the first protest was actually held on a city council day, and the most beautiful thing I saw was people were actually coming in and signing up and registering their opinion on agenda items on the city council. People were taking notice of something that they'd never noticed before, which is what what is our local government doing with our money on a daily basis. And so with the protest being held at City Hall, it's an excellent opportunity to educate people on what is happening at the local level and why they should care. And that's what I'm doing out here, is talking to people about local issues and talking to people about why you should care and why you should get involved. There's a ton of ways to do that. Texas for Accountable Government is a good local group here in Austin that follows local government very closely. There's a variety of organizations. We Are Change, Change Austin, Better Austin Today. There's groups everywhere that are on Facebook, and they have websites. You can go to these groups, you can sign up, you can attend their meetings, you can hear about issues that all of our fellow neighbors and friends care about and what people are getting active on. And most importantly, try to stop some of the situations where we're being taken advantage of, because it is happening, and the people here today can jump on that.
Just a couple quick last questions, if I can. You're a former candidate for Austin City Council. What specifically would you like to see change in what Austin City Council does when they vote and conduct their business here at Austin City Hall?
I think a big problem with the city is the consulting. For pretty much any issue that comes before the council, well, not every issue, but there are so many issues that come before the city council, and we hire consultants, and we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, with consulting firms to come back, and a lot of it is done to either delay a vote or to try to shift some of the political fallback from the vote on being able to place blame somewhere else, such as I'm just voting the way that the consultant hired. Even when you look at who the consultants are, sometimes the consultants are hired with very specific backgrounds so that you can almost expect the response that you'll get from the survey or the item that was studied. And so that's really one of my pet peeves, is all the consulting going on and all the studying being done on a lot of these issues. We have residents of Austin coming forward offering knowledge beyond what you could imagine. I mean, experts in the field on all of these subjects, and those are the ones that we need to be listening to and taking into account when our politicians are deciding how to vote.
Man, you bring up some great points, Mr. Bailey. I'm really proud of your stances. And one more question, if I can. Do you have anything else to say about Austin City Council or Occupy Austin, where it's going, what you'd like to see? What's the future of this event and these protests? What does it mean for Austin?
I think that Occupy Austin is getting people engaged in government, and that's the most important thing, and taking all the people that are disenfranchised and feel left out and ignored and uniting those voices to help steer this movement towards actually getting something accomplished. I'd like to see more people showing up, and I'd like to see more people at the voting booths. I'd like to see more issues being discussed in much greater detail in our elections. There's a lot of really poorly researched and shallow positions that are taken during election season that'll get people fired up on just having one side or the other, or having one belief or the other, and trying to get people to vote on that without really looking into some of the bigger problems that we see. My favorite issue, the one that I've always been passionate about, is the war on drugs. The legalization of marijuana in this country would change so many things, but our politicians are afraid to talk about it on every level of government, local, state, or federal. I personally, I don't like marijuana. I don't use it. I don't want to use it. I have nothing to do with it. But looking at the damage that's been inflicted on our friends and our neighbors and our fellow countrymen is sickening. We have millions of people that are being jailed. We spent over $1 trillion on the war on drugs right now, and it doesn't make any sense. And when you ask politicians about it, they always skirt the question. They never answer the question, but they give a very textbook answer that's poorly researched, not thought out at all, and things like that. And so if we could see a lot of the issues like this, where I believe most Americans in general really recognize the failure of this war on our friends and our neighbors, and if we can unite around causes like that, that's not the only one, that's just one that I find interesting and I care about. But if you can see people uniting around the areas where we do agree, instead of being so heavily focused on the areas where we disagree, then that would be a successful movement, in my opinion. I think this actually does have the potential and the possibility to have that happen.
Great. Thank you for all your comments, Kris, and good luck
Yeah,
in 2012.
Yeah. We can do
How dumb was that?
I'll make this really quick. I just want to tell one little story.